Tell me." Tears choked my voice. I could only reply by clasping Marguerite to my heart. "Well," said she, turning to Prudence, and speaking in a broken voice, "you can report this scene to the duke, and you can add that we have no longer need of him." From that day forth the duke was never referred to. Marguerite was no longer the same woman that I had known. She avoided everything that might recall to me the life which she had been leading when I first met her. Never did wife or sister surround husband or brother with such loving care as she had for me. Her nature was morbidly open to all impressions and accessible to all sentiments. She had broken equally with her friends and with her ways, with her words and with her extravagances. Anyone who had seen us leaving the house to go on the river in the charming little boat which I had bought would never have believed that the woman dressed in white, wearing a straw hat, and carrying on her arm a little silk pelisse to protect against the damp of the river, was that Marguerite Gautier who, only 4 months ago, had been the talk of the town for the luxury and scandal of her existence. Alas, we made haste to be happy, as if we knew that we were not to be happy long. For 2 months we had not even been to Paris. No one came to see us, except Prudence and Julie Duprat, of whom I have spoken to you, and of whom Marguerite was afterward to give the touching narrative that I have there. I passed whole days at the feet of my mistress. We opened the windows upon the garden, and, as we watched the summer ripening in its flowers and under the shadow of its trees, we breathed together that true life which neither Marguerite nor I had ever known before. Her delight in the smallest things was like that of a child. There were days when she ran in the garden, like a child of 10, after a butterfly or a dragonfly. This courtesan, who had cost more money in bouquets than would have kept a whole family in comfort, would sometimes sit on the grass for an hour, examining the simple flower whose name she bore. It was at this time that she read Manon Lescaut over and over again. I found her several times making notes in the book, and she always declared that when a woman loves, she cannot do as Manon did. The duke wrote to her 2 or 3 times. She recognized the writing, and gave me the letters without reading them. Sometimes the terms of these letters brought tears to my eyes. He had imagined that by closing his purse to Marguerite he would bring her back to him. But when he had perceived the uselessness of these means, he could hold out no longer, and wrote and asked that he might see her again, as before, no matter on what conditions. I read these urgent and repeated letters, and tore them in pieces, without telling Marguerite what they contained, and without advising her to see the old man again, though I was half inclined to, so much did I pity him. But I was afraid lest, if I so advised her, she should think that I wished the duke not merely to come and see her again, but to take over the expenses of the house. I feared, above all, that she might think me capable of shirking the responsibilities of every consequence to which her love for me might lead her. It thus came about that the duke, receiving no reply, ceased to write, and that Marguerite and I continued to live together without giving a thought to the future. End of chapter 17.